welcome to the Twink Revolution. I'm sad to be here today because you have stolen my childhood. I should have been being finger banged by a boy with a Honda Civic, but instead I have to dish out pain to you little pain piggies. How dare you? How dare you? Listen to Twink Revolution, you fuck.
We're so sorry, Greta. You're fine. We really have no quarrel with you whatsoever. Welcome to Twink Revolution. You're on episode 3, and thank you so much for joining us or for staying with us if you have. I'm Gian.
And I'm Sam.
And on this episode, we've got lots of exciting things to talk about.
Yeah, welcome back.
What have you been doing, Sam?
Well, you were in Vegas. And
yeah, I was there too.
Yeah, you were there too. You were supporting the Chinese state and looking at some executed bodies.
Yeah, we were in Vegas and it was lovely. The weather was good. You know, the drinks were strong. It's sort of just like the best that late capitalism can deliver.
Yeah, we just couldn't deal with Folsom in the Bay, so we
got the
emigrated.
fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did, at the inducement of a very enthusiastic young man on the sidewalk of the Las Vegas Strip, end up going to the, I think it's Real Bodies.
It's the knockoff version of Bodies, and turns out most of the bodies come from, like, executed prisoners from the Chinese prisons.
Yeah, we learned this after the fact. So plasticized bodies are remarkable and striking and poignant, but it turns out bad politics.
Yeah, but it made sense. I mean, they were all short as shit. Like,
yeah, no, Sam did say while we were wandering through, like, why are they all so short? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe there's some shrinkage during the process. They were not.
Like, all the babies looked Asian. Maybe they just like that normally, but they all did. Like,
yeah, I left my skull calipers at home, unfortunately, so I couldn't sort of verify exactly what the ethnicity of the plasticized corpses was, but I'm going to guess all the paperwork is not necessarily up to date on all of these.
Yeah, I'm taking a phrenology class, so I'm just an expert on the skulls right now.
Thank goodness, yeah. We'll know which exhibits are safe to visit in the future.
But no, Vegas was fun. I'm already exhausted, and we've only been back a day. The Bay Area is just cold and wearing on me.
Yeah, and we missed out on a lot of, like, leather and pissing.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Yeah, I had a little bit of FOMO.
I was a little sad because all the Instagram, like, thirst traps were in SF while I was in Vegas, but that was pretty much it.
Oh, speaking of Instagram, we have one of those now.
Yeah, you should join.
What is it? Twink Rev,
yeah,
right?
It's Twink Rev.
Yeah. We're just going to be posting, basically we're going to exploit our twink friends.
Yeah.
And just make them sort of thirst trap on our behalf. Yeah, that's the general plan here.
We need to sexify socialism, I think.
Yeah, that's what we're going for, a cheap sort of sex sells narrative around socialism.
Yeah, we're aesthetics with materialism, unlike 99% of Instagram.
It's true, which is just aesthetics and neoliberal hell.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But I think Vegas is sort of interesting, right? Because it's the one taste of opulence that most of this country can access.
Oh, totally.
Like, where else do you get to feel luxury if you're not, like, mega wealthy, right? Like, if you're a sort of normal working class person in America, you can afford a trip to Vegas. Mm-hmm. You can stay at a hotel shaped like a child's play castle or, like, a half-scale replica of the fucking Eiffel Tower or something, and, like, you get to feel pampered, you get to feel special, and it's kind of incredible.
I mean, you can do basically everything. You can see the Eiffel Tower and never engage with a fucking Parisian, and like
and get on Grindr and get Eiffel Tower if you want there too. Everything is for sale there.
You can do whatever you want in Vegas, and the baseline is like pretty nice for anyone with any income.
Right, and I think the thing is people have an instant revulsion to Vegas because they think of it as like, well, it is just sort of hell capitalism, right? The entire place is like an ecological monstrosity in the desert, owned by corporations that is designed to sort of separate people from their money. But I'm for a socialist Vegas future. I think.
I mean, if you're so uptight about Vegas being like that, just take a Xanax, smoke a cigarette, and play a slot machine. Like, it's amazing.
Just get with the program. No, I think in my version of full luxury gay space communism, the entire world will be Vegas.
Plus, if you love unions, almost all of Vegas hotels are unionized, so it's better than like 99% of the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's all union shops. I think the Palms has an ongoing labor dispute.
Yeah.
So do not give them your money. But otherwise, all those hotels designed to get you to stay and gamble and sit by a pool and enjoy a drink and all terrible crimes of capitalism. Like, stay there gleefully.
Yes, it's amazing.
And hit us up if you're going out there. We're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, if we build up, we'll have a meetup.
Yeah. A meetup in the gay sauna and in Vegas. Perfect.
Wonderful. And we're not the only ones who've been traveling. Saudi Arabia has been collaborating with a bunch of Instagram influencers because they just opened the country to broad-based tourism, which is pretty atrocious.
What is the play here? So I don't follow influencers.
The Saudi Arabian theocracy and Mohammed bin Salman, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Bin Salman.
I might be butchering
MBS.
it.
Let's just go with MBS because that's how he's relatable to the youth. Yeah,
major bullshit.
Wow, you're not getting an invite to the fucking influencer convention in Saudi Arabia.
But they've been spending like a couple of $1 million or millions of dollars to basically create a tourism industry as oil capitalism is kind of declining in the world, and that makes sense because most of North America has been rising in their oil production.
Yeah, we've been digging tar sands as fast as possible, right?
They brought a bunch of like Western Instagram influencers to come promote the country and really hype it up and show how amazing it is. It's basically the Dubai occasion of like Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I can't fucking wait.
Yeah. So they've also associated with some liberalization policies. So guess what, women? If you're not from the country, don't need to cover your hair anymore. You just gotta dress modestly. But everyone else there, you gotta wear the abaya still. And women can go to sports arenas with men now. That's pretty cool.
So has there been any good output from this this collaboration? I mean, like influencers, right? Like, and let me see if I get this right because this is really your world and not mine.
Yeah.
But these are people who sort of make money perpetually having a sort of a good time in the most generic sense possible, right, on Instagram. Like,
they're all like hot people getting paid to like film and photograph these beautiful hotels to influence people to attend them or pay money at these establishments.
This is like, it's often like the same cliche shot, sort of like, oh, here I am, like on the Amalfi Coast at sunset, like in a bathing suit, like kind of doing the same pose, doing yoga poses at sunset or something. This is kind of what we're...
Yeah.
It's these people. So Saudi Arabia, the government of Saudi Arabia, the charming Al Saud family have conscripted these people in the fight of to change the image of the country or something?
So they were trying to rebrand the image away from the whole murder of like gays and women and political dissidents and the Khashoggi controversy. So like it's like a major rebrand, and it's not a new phenomenon of countries paying influencers to brandish their image to a more palatable viewpoint for the outside world when it's so negative. But I think what I found most interesting about this whole thing was the Instagrammer influencers fought on it. Like, they're not they shouldn't be talking about it. You're
Oh,
travelers. So I'll be totally honest. I follow like half of people who agreed to promote the country and promote it. And like they're fun and I want to be their best friends. But I also don't want to hear their political viewpoints because they have no qualification. Like,
hey, basic representation matters.
But one of them, she's a Polish. I think she's like in her late 20s or early 30s. And she does luxury travel all over the world. And her name is Aggie. She's awesome.
She's hot.
But she also buys into like juice cleanses and like everyone's a good person and like Burning Man. So like clearly like
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's really a lot of substance.
Yeah, it's a lot of substance, but she has great pictures and videos. But her first tweet, which made me aware this whole thing was going on, said, "Saudi, open arms, open heart." And I was just like...
Open ass.
What? Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
Jesus.
But it gets better. She did a Q&A, asked her anything about Saudi Arabia, and she only answered 3 questions. I wonder why.
Would you say Saudi Arabia was good or great?
The first one was about her dress, so clearly
good. Okay.
Not meaningful. And then the second one was about veggie options, so she's like flexitarian now. She was vegan for a while. And all she said was, Middle East has some of the best veggie options anywhere. So, go to Saudi Arabia for vegan options.
Hell yeah.
Because, that's why you travel there.
Do I get those options in a Saudi prison? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, you get baba ganoush and falafel every single day.
I mean, I can fuck with that, actually. That sounds fine.
Doesn't sound horrible.
Yeah.
But she also tweeted this, her fave comment under my last post, straight from a Saudi woman. And the woman goes on to say, I am a Saudi woman, and I don't feel that I am any worse than any woman in the world. When you have the right man in your life, you'll get all your rights, whether you're Saudi or not. Neither my religion or my country have forbidden me from my rights. And then she goes on to say, basically, this is what all other Saudi women I met told me.
I mean, that's aspirational for the gays. I mean,
but it gets
find
better.
the right man in your life and you'll get rights.
And the Business Insider article, which kind of really was the main one that broadcasted this whole ordeal, she's like, I'm a feminist, and I wanted to ask about women, questions about what it's actually like there. And
did she?
She did.
Oh, she asked. Oh, thank goodness.
Because, women in a theocratic police state are going to tell tourists while you're with state-funded guides how they really feel about the state.
No, you're going to get the real answer there.
Yeah.
But I love that line. Just find the right man and you'll get your rights. This is what queer liberation should be aspiring to. It's just a kind of theocratic notion of sort of monogamy. And I think that's the path forward for all of us. Really.
I mean, it gets better because I asked her a question, so it was open. I mean, she didn't reply because I'm a nobody, but I asked what her thoughts about the gay executions were, and I didn't really get a response.
Oh, well, I mean, I assume she thinks they're good. Those are the gays that found the wrong man.
Yeah, Western gays are okay, but if it's the culture, how dare you critique it?
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of the party trick that's repeatedly pulled here, right? Is that the sort of American liberals, in their affection for any sort of good news coming out of particularly Saudi Arabia, right? Because they're not the axis of evil.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the good news is women can drive now, for example. And you're like, well, but maybe we should ask the question why they couldn't in the first place.
Exactly.
Or come on, climate change, people.
Yeah.
Women shouldn't drive.
But there was another guy who was like an influencer there, and he was like, I want to know the truth, because, I trust travel influencers as like investigative reporters.
Yeah, that's our hard-hitting investigative journalism these days.
Yeah, I mean, the guy literally, his evidence was he went on the internet and typed in the Khashoggi murders, and was like, oh, I found something about it. It's clearly not the same as North Korea, and it's like, okay, but is North Korea the baseline of like what's censorship? Because
that's the benchmark for human rights.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to most of Europe and there's still censorship. So like,
Wait, sorry. So he Googled Khashoggi.
Yeah.
And the comparison he came up with was it's not like North Korea.
Yes.
I mean, yes, it is. That's true in a sort of like tautological way, in that Khashoggi is murdered in a Turkish embassy, or perhaps a Saudi or embassy in Turkey. Mm-hmm. North Korea, to the best of my knowledge, has only executed dissidents in airports.
Yeah.
So, it is very different fundamentally.
And the media coverage was actually really hilarious and how it differentiates. So, like a year or two ago, 2 British travel influencers, I think they were YouTube influencers, went to North Korea, and all the media was like, oh, this must be sponsored, they're promoting it for water parks and stuff, but we have no evidence that the state sponsored it. But in this case, they're a lot more forgiving, it seems, because Saudi Arabia is a Western-backed ally.
Well, I mean, and they own, a significant portion of a lot of the tech companies we all know and love. Uber, for example, could receive a giant investment from the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. And so, actually, wait, does Instagram, I mean, Facebook, as the owner of Instagram, are they Saudi invested? I suspect they might be.
I wouldn't be surprised. But the tour was literally just going to high-end art museums and seeing UNESCO sites and major media and sports arenas and shit. It's basically showing off the most extravagant things, which majority of Saudi Arabia people won't ever experience, because despite the image of luxury for all, kind of Dubai gives that image.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia's population is quite poor compared to the royalty of the country who rule it.
Yeah, I mean it's a sort of gangsterism in action, right? I mean, Qatar, right, is suffering from this at the moment with coming up to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's giant mega stadiums being built, and there's sort of the press junkets that they fund to be like, hey, look at the amazing stadiums we're building using foreign slave labor under the most abject conditions possible.
Which is the same as Saudi Arabia. It's just disgusting. And I think there's a difference between going to Saudi Arabia and being a travel vlogger and accepting money to have a very prescribed viewpoint of what the country wants you to show.
Right. They write it, you say it, and that's how you are an influencer on behalf of Saudi Arabia. That's kind of fucking depressing.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, some people luckily did actually say no to the offer, and for actually very valid reasons. It wasn't just oh, they're mean to the women and the gays. But there was some eco Instagram account, and they were actually Saudi Arabia promotes Salafi jihadism worldwide and is supporting oil exports, which are destroying our planet. So I'm
fair enough.
Good for you. That's
you have some principles. You're sticking to them.
Yeah,
I like that. Didn't you follow some insufferable travel influencer who went to Venezuela?
Yeah.
What was
I totally forgot his name, but
it doesn't matter.
This guy has literally been to 100+ countries, and every country he's been to prior was never negative, and then he goes to Venezuela, and it's used as a total foreign policy nonsense advocacy program where he's literally seeking out the worst of the country, or he's talking to the elite population of Venezuela who are gonna have a very different kind of view from normal Chavistas in the country.
And this was during the Guaido kind of uprising, attempted coup, right?
Yeah, he's a Spanish Instagrammer. So I mean, it's pretty obvious he's gonna have a biased view. But
is he attractive?
He was decent. I wouldn't kick out of bed.
Okay, so does he get gulagged? That's the question.
Well, he got an unfollow from me during this.
the digital gulag.
I just thought the reporting was just really unfair, and I could follow a million other people. So,
well, this is the model we can look forward to for the rest of time, right? Is we will get our news about foreign policy and about sort of just the state of the world in general reported to us through sort of bite-sized pieces of Instagrammers who are attractive, having a great time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of dismiss this whole issue because it's travel. Oh, it's just fun. It's just lightheartedness. But the reality is, travel's been exponentially used by foreign governments, including the U.S., but outside the U.S. as well, to create a cultured image and kind of dismiss atrocities. Israel is responsible for this. I mean, they have a whole tourism organization, which is like vegan travel and like queer travel.
Yep.
And it's basically to show, oh, we're not actually awful. Like, they don't even dismiss this fact, but it's to hide the Palestinian, like ethnic cleansing of the country.
I mean, this was basically the premise behind the Peace Corps, right? Was like, you know, let's go and export these sort of like Western prosperity and American values to the world, and we'll fight communism that way.
Yeah.
So this is the like Blackwater of a version of the Peace Corps. It's the like private, you know, private funded militia of the Peace Corps. You can go and buy yourself some goodwill internationally.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, because so much of the population is kind of entrapped in this entertainment, social media empire, this is the only time they're ever going to hear about these issues in countries, and they're going to have a messed up view of, like, these issues.
Yeah.
People have no reason to actually talk about these issues. They're not aware or educated on these topics. Instead, they're being funded, and I think anyone who's being funded by the state committing atrocities should just be dismissed immediately.
Yeah, well, one last question. I mean, did the influencers get to take some hot yoga pose photos at sunset in Yemen?
No, but actually,
Aw, mean.
I think it is really great to bring up the topic of Yemen, because while this atrocity is going on, some of the UNESCO sites of Yemen are almost completely destroyed due to bombing and Saudi influence,
Yes.
which I think is really unfair. I mean, why is it okay to like promote the UNESCO sites and cultural heritage of Saudi Arabia, but then also destroy the cultural heritage of other regions of the world? And it's gone. Like, you don't get it back ever.
Well, I mean, you also don't get oil rigs back or
That's
oil
true.
refineries back. So, you know, really fair is fair, ultimately.
Yeah, yet again, Iran is a comrade.
It's true. They're green. At least.
Yeah, they're so green.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened this week was a video resurfaced, for reasons that are a little unclear to me, of the Queer Eye Fab Five, our heroes, yes, Slay Queen, kind of talking about Bernie in late 2018, I believe.
Yeah. It was pushed by this digital media company called Into, and it was created by the Grindr app.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
if
So
you're
this
not
is
familiar-
Grindr's media arm.
Yeah, which actually, I believe, fell out of... it basically went bankrupt. It wasn't that popular.
Did they?
So
Oh,
this
I
is
know
why
nothing
the
about
video
them.
is old. It's not brand new.
Okay, well, I mean, so I think what happened was Jonathan Van Ness, right, had a media cycle as coming out as HIV positive
Yep.
and an Elizabeth Warren supporter.
Yeah.
And one of these should cause social stigma, I think, personally.
The AIDS. No, I'm just kidding.
So he basically came out with a big Warren endorsement about, I think that the thing he said was, when I had to pay $2,500 after losing my medication and, you know, had to pay out of pocket to get it replaced, I really understood the struggles of regular people. It was just some incredibly vacuous statement like that, and said, and therefore I'm supporting Elizabeth Warren, which, A, fuck you, and also then led to, I think, people digging up the video of the Fab Five being all like, we ain't about that Bernie. And it had the choice quote in it, I think, but the most revolting part of it was, was it Ronald Reagan may have been bad
He
on
ignored
AIDS,
the
ignored
HIV
AIDS.
crisis, but at
Yeah.
least he put gel in his hair.
Yes.
And that was from Jonathan Van Ness, who's the fashion expert. And it doesn't encapsulate how vile liberal gay politics have become, where image is more important than substance.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm even willing to give a charitable reading where they might have been being a little kind of flippant and glib. But the interesting thing is that this is sort of regarded as like a profound political stance you could take. 'Cause these are five gay men who are sort of held up as examples to emulate, giving just this full-throated endorsement to Hillary initially, right? They were all big-time Hillary supporters, and then being all like, no, we're not about Bernie, not about the politics. And then saying, hey, Warren's our gal. Which, you know, if you sort of think about like what does it mean to essentialize gay identity, this would be it, right? It would be to reduce actually all of gay identity down to a kind of soundbite shitty stereotype. In the same way that if you were to have listened to the Democratic nomination coverage a few months ago, you would sort of hear very qualified pundits, you're sort of like, you know, Nate Silver shitheads of the world or whatever, being like, well, you know, the African-American community will support Kamala Harris. As in, it's sort of presuming to understand fundamentally, like, well, knowing what I do about the demographics and the identities of the people in these communities, I therefore know what's important to them. I know their politics.
Yeah.
And so the Queer Eye people kind of completely essentializing gay identity in this regard as like they are wealthy media figures. They've all done fine out of this show. So what's funny, right, is they are not expressing gay identity. They're expressing rich identity. They're fully embodying like the shithead rich class.
And I'll say, like, I mean, they were all Hillary's backers, but I will give credit to the one non-American person who is on the Fab Five, Tan France. He did say he loved Bernie. He was the only one who actually disagreed on the panel. He still was a Hillary backer over Bernie, to my knowledge.
He probably can't vote.
No. So, and it also makes sense. Like, he's a Pakistani gay person from the British Empire whose parents were immigrants. Like, of course he's going to be more sympathetic to labor versus, like, these four people who are the other members of the community who are just really raking it in. I think one of them, Bobby Bartberg, who's the basically housing restylist, just launched his own housing like line, like of like decor. Anthony, who's the cooking one, just released his whole book and is like a host on some show, I believe on the Food Network.
Can we talk about, sorry, this is a complete digression, but none of them have names that are spelled normally.
No, like...
I guess Jonathan is spelled correctly, right? Is that how, does he spell it correctly? Okay, well, so what... No, I have nothing to add here, except to say, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
This is a Bernal Heights fucking preschool.
Yeah.
These names are... Anyway, I don't know. I don't watch the show. I watched it once or twice, and I watched the original. Like, the original Queer Eye had a sort of, like, heartwarming... queer acceptance in a sort of, in a very, within very narrowly defined constraints of like network television. So
and I
think people do it too far, right?
I feel like I've watched the first two seasons and I'm on the third one and I just kind of lost interest even before this. And I just kind of kept picking up this idea of fixing someone. Like clearly these people may have like personal issues that they care too much about others in their community, but also had a very working class shamey kind of idea. And this show's not for working class people. It's for
straight people fundamentally, right?
It's for like people who have like means and are on the coast and like, oh, look at this poor person in like Missouri. They wear camel all the time.
Oh, this unfuckable loser.
Busy all the time and they can't fix their teeth. And it's like, yeah, because that's what working class means in a capitalist society, especially America. It just kind of erasing this reality that these people are struggling because they're trying to care for their families in a system that's not supportive of existence with luxury.
The couple of episodes I've seen, it kind of exactly locks into that of like, there's a sort of veneer of like body positivity, but in a very patronizing kind of like head patting, like, oh honey, it's okay, you're unfuckable kind of way. Fuck all of this.
Yeah, and their background's hilarious because I kind of investigated so like who are these people? Like I've never heard of anyone except for Jonathan Van Ness who did the Gay of Thrones videos where they would do like gay hairdresser analysis of like the Game of Thrones episodes, which are funny. I thought they were funny, but for example, Karamo Brown, who was in that video criticizing Bernie, He's the culture expert, and if you look into his record, he got his start doing the Real World of Philadelphia, and then later found out he had a child he had no idea. He came out when he was like 10. So, like, I don't think you should be the person trying to get their life together when your life was like a reality TV show and didn't even know about a child. Like, I feel like
spectacle is fun.
It is fun, but it's also like, I wouldn't want you to be the person to give me life advice for the real world.
No, and to be clear, you should take life advice from us. Incredibly successful gay Marxist podcasters.
Yeah. I mean, most people have become capitalists in of themselves. I mean, Tan France literally started at Zara, one of the worst fashion companies for workers in the world, and then later launched his very own brand of women's, like, clothing line. Like, these people are not...
I hope he's using, good union labor to assemble.
Totally. He's giving Pakistanis jobs, but they're sweatshops.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny, the Queer Eye video came out, and a friend of the show, Yusuf, on Twitter, got kind of shamed for tweeting, I think flippantly, this is why homophobia exists. Which, yes, your laugh is the correct response. But yeah, we found some sanctimony, and it's sanctimony based on a very liberal conception of gay identity, right? This is like, there is sort of gross, vulgar version of identity that is weaponized in neoliberalism all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the gays do it in a way that's a little stealthy, because it was practical for a while. It was a useful tool for kind of acting as a shorthand to talking about power relations. Now that we've sort of moved on from maybe the basic fights of sort of the, gay marriage, or maybe even, Lawrence v. Texas, right? Like getting rid of sodomy laws on the books.
Which lasted till 2003, by the way.
Yeah, no, exactly. This, sodomy was illegal. So, I hope everyone breaking some historical laws out there. But through to the gay marriage fights that happened, and just sort of greater social acceptance as it happened. You sort of have still seen a shitty weaponized version of identity politics in the gay community, but it's this one, right? It's this, oh no, we are like the Queer Eye guys. We are something to emulate, and we exist in a position of quite some privilege now.
Mm-hmm.
We have a newfound privilege, and I use that term in the, like, in its most basic sense of like, the gay community was marginalized in the U.S. for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And having found some social status and economic status, are now sort of just weaponizing it in the most awful fucking way, where it's sort of playing off historical marginality. There are still real issues facing gay men in America, Like, if you are cis, gay, and white in America, there's still some forms of oppression in many parts of this country.
Yes.
Maybe not if you live in San Francisco.
And even then, there's like, I think it's estimated between 20 and 40 of the population of homeless people are gay and like lesbian and bi, and statistically, a large percent probably is still white, coming from outside of the country.
Right. The problems that affect people who are disenfranchised and marginalized in this country still affect gay people at the same rate, and then actually at a much greater rate, probably. There's a cheapened idea of when you start playing into a certain sort of privilege hierarchy, right, and start playing like privilege points, being like, oh, well, we must only let the most marginalized voices speak about their oppression, whatever. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of issues that, right, still affect people every day. And so you start getting these ridiculous shit fights about, like, top privilege.
Yeah. I mean, I think this whole issue really encapsulates why relying on identity politics alone kind of comes, like, it's useless, because once you're accepted into the capitalist system, you just start reinforcing it and never actually absolve the underlying crisis, which is class warfare.
Yeah, I mean, the CEO of the, I think, first or second most valuable company in the world, right, is a gay man.
Yeah.
Tim Cook of Apple. Tim Apple of whatever, of Cook. Great. He's gay, right, and is a perpetrator of some of the worst abuses
Yeah.
of the working class.
I mean, one of the companies that just filed a bankruptcy, Forever 21, was founded by Korean immigrants, very poor, and once they got money, started screwing over the rest of, like, Asian sweatshop workers. So it just shows it wasn't the identity that was the issue, it's the class level of what's causing issues in society.
Precisely, yeah. And I mean, to the extent that the Queer Eye guys have actually achieved a modicum of power in very real terms, economic and sort of social. They have this sort of currency of media. They have turned around and started turning into the same kind of shitty exploiters that everybody else does.
Yeah.
Right? So, the person that struggled to buy their first house changes their tune rather quickly when they buy their second one to rent out. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what they've done. They've completely internalized this narrative, and fuck them for it.
I mean, Hollywood and entertainment's always been a tool to kind of numb the masses and make them focus on feel-good happiness versus, like, the underlying reasons why they're trying to seek happiness through TV versus, like, their own material lives.
Yeah, I mean, Ronald Reagan may have been the most rabidly anti-communist union leader that Hollywood's ever had, but at least he knew how to put hair gel in his hair. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, slay queen.
I mean, this issue permeates so deeply into, I think, the most marginalized of communities. I mean, you kind of touched on at the top privilege. Like, media has actually published articles talking about top privilege and why you're privileged to be a top versus a bottom. And I think it's complete bullshit. Like, you're just marginalizing everything that's an inconvenience. Like,
well, but it's even
like,
not just that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's even the sense in which it's, for one, suggesting that there's, like, something wrong with being a bottom. Mm-hmm. And then it's a complete commodification of it, right? It seems there's a sexual currency going on here rather than, like, one might engage in sex with other people for pleasure, for love, for intimacy, for all sorts of reasons that are not, like, currency and therefore subject to market forces.
I mean, the whole conceit of top and bottom itself are, like, highly heteronormative constructions. Like, why do you need to be placed into where you put your dick or where a dick goes inside you? I mean, for many gays, they don't even have anal intercourse, so they're neither top nor bottom, and that's completely...
but which one of you is the woman?
Yeah, exactly. That still is a thing. And I think if you're talking about sex, it should just be like, oh, what do you enjoy doing? It shouldn't be like you get stuck with a label. And so often that label is predetermined for you. I mean, you would think things like the conception of twink privilege, because so often this idea of, like, the feminine twink who's skinny and beautiful and fashionable, but that's not
Sam's
actually
describing himself here.
Yeah, thank you. But it's not a thing, and if you actually engage in the gay community, there's some of the most, like, they're treated like shit compared to most people of power and class, because it's so often the older, wealthier gays who objectify and utilize them and think they're just objects for their pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the idea of the sort of a sexual market in which the twinks are the commodities or something, and, like, the older, wealthier men are the buyers in this market, and we're really just saying, like, well, the best daddies are going to get the hottest twinks or something.
Yeah.
And this is just considered completely normal and not some completely perverse and fucked up distortion of, like, actual human relations.
Like, you probably can relate, but, like, going to parties, especially when you get a very, like, youthful twink aesthetic,
You look 12.
You just get grabbed all the time without this person even talking to you.
I'm literally grabbing Sam during this.
I mean, I've gone to a pool party where I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, it's, like, not, like, some, like, dingy nightclub. And I turn around when this guy grabs my ass, and he's like, you know you like it. And I gave him, like, the complete bitchy face, and no one does anything. Like, and clearly, as a smaller person, like, you're not going to, like, challenge a big-ass dude. Like, that's not how the world works.
No, it's just sort of this is where the idea that there's no marginality worth talking about within the gay community, to the extent that not suggesting that you are the most marginalized, but it's like there are power dynamics that exist all over society, right? And the kind of sexual value market is the least interesting one to talk about. It's the grossest of them.
Yeah.
And it's the one which we should give the least power and currency to.
And so often marginality is viewed from like a neoliberal market sense where there's ageism and racism, but it's only because someone doesn't want to fuck you. Like,
or employ you, perhaps.
Yeah. But it's often in like the media sphere.
Totally.
It's, this guy didn't want to have sex with me because I'm this body type or I'm this old. And it's like, you don't have a right to have sex with anyone. Sex is not a commodity that you can guarantee yourself. I mean, a guy literally sued Grindr, who's Asian, for discrimination. But it's like, for one, why do you want to have sex with racist fucks?
Yeah,
also,
don't fuck racist people.
You don't have a right to sex. Like, if no one in the world wants to have sex with you, you can't force anyone. Despite what incels dream of, is a world where sex is guaranteed for all.
Sexual communism is a great next frontier, right? From each according to their unfuckability.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
So I don't know. I think the Queer Eye guys are worthy of our critique. To the extent that plenty of people dragged them for their shitty, basic bitch takes on politics, which are extremely sort of coastal elitist crap. But I think actually at a deeper level, we should malign them for contributing to just a cheapening of what it actually means to struggle to be gay or to be queer in this world. They are not doing anybody any favors in terms of their notion of like what is it that affects queer people. It's material, right? Yeah. Fundamentally, all of these relations are at base material relations that we should analyze as such. And their whole like Bernie's fucking suits weren't nice or they're wrinkly or whatever. Like fuck them. This man has been out there fighting for you for 40 years. You fuck.
And to endorse a neoliberal woman who is literally supported by Gulf nations which execute gays and is pushed for theocracies and authoritarian leaders across the world, which that doesn't hurt just gay people, it hurts everyone, is disgusting. And also to promote neoliberal markets, it clearly hurts the LGBT community more. Like, if you care about identity politics, which these publications and people seem to promote they do, you wouldn't support these capitalistic war hawks. You would support Bernie Sanders or some other working class labor candidate. Like, it's just disgusting. And they clearly, with this whole privilege conception, ignore class. It's the one issue of privilege they will never talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I'm glad we can all get behind a Native American woman candidate finally for president who has supported LGBT rights for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
LGB rights, maybe. I don't know. She evolved your call on trans rights.
Yeah. But I mean, speaking of like this whole like lack of class analysis, Climate Change March was last week as well. We didn't really talk about it, but I think it's really encapsulate this aesthetic only activism and politic.
Did you see the people? There was an amazing video of a pipeline, sort of a people holding up a simulated pipeline made out of craft supplies. Yeah. In DC, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then somebody twerking in front of it. Just what's the group called? It's got some fucking horrible name.
The Queer Dance Troupe, and if you probably saw the video of the like dance protest in quotations outside Mike Pence's house. That was this group. Dancing is activism now, and not just dancing, twerking.
Hot.
Yeah.
I just had to do a big old eye roll to this. I don't know, like, find your pleasure, I suppose, but this is not activism. Maybe I should restate. This is activism, but in like the laziest fucking form possible. Yeah. It troubles nobody. Right? You are not challenging any power structure. You are not changing, you're not inconveniencing anybody. The people who were literally milling around watching the dance performance were actually doing more to prosecute this particular case, right? Because they were maybe holding up some traffic or slowing down some people on their way to work or something.
Yeah.
But this is not direct action. This is not anything.
I mean, I have a quote from the organizers. They said, "We've protested around a number of intersectional issues, including the Muslim ban, climate change, healthcare, sexual violence, consent, and more, covering the streets with biodegradable confetti and letting the world know that hashtag we are here and hashtag we will dance." And it's like, wow, how effective were you on all any of these? You didn't do jack shit. It's what? A person isn't going to stop sexual violence because they saw you twerking on the streets with, like, biodegradable confetti. Like, for one, green capitalist bullshit. But also, it's like, you didn't do anything. Like, you're just using your gayness. It's just to push being, like, super, like, flamboyant and gay and stereotypical. To,
well,
like,
yeah, that's the whole shtick, right? Is essentially a, like, oh, wait, you're a man wearing tight leggings with a booty and your booty shaken?
Yeah.
Oh, how scandalous. Like, if you don't grant the conceit that that's not a valid performance of male gender, which I simply do not, right? This is a perfectly valid way to be a man. And you, if you are a man and you identify as a man and you want to go shake your juicy booty in the streets, that good. Like, good on you. You are a man.
There's no right way to be a man or a woman. Like,
exactly. Like, so to the extent that this is all playing off a kind of gag and a kind of like, isn't this? Aren't you shocked? Aren't you scandalized?
Yeah.
Like, no, fuck you for saying so. Like, this is not scandalous. And in fact, the fact that you're trying to sensationalize it in some way, it's cheap and it's boring.
And they're not like an anti-establishment group. Like, they try to promote, like, they still reinforce capitalism and the two-party
They're standing for
system.
Nancy Pelosi in the rest of the fucking time.
Yeah.
This is like twerking for fucking Nancy Pelosi.
Hashtag Nancy Pelosi for president, which was a real tweet this weekend.
Where you can't see it, but we're actually sarcastically sideways clapping for that.
We will never have socialism.
We're doing the Pelosi. I don't know. The whole thing is fucking gross. And this is the same country that, not that many years ago, had the Weather Underground blowing up cop cars.
Yeah.
That like, we're going to talk about what acts of protest look like. Yeah. It turns out putting on some leggings and doing a little bit of twerking in the streets is not an act of protest.
I mean, so many people just want to have, like, a constant... They never want the fun to end. They want a constant party. And touching on this idea of rainbow capitalism, it's basically queer capitalism where you exploit the gay community for a profit, which I saw probably the most this year for any years. It just grown each year.
Constantly. I mean, D-Ray's shilling fucking rainbow Doritos and shit.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But this year we went to two prides. We went to Sacramento and San Francisco. At San Francisco Pride and Sacramento Pride, there was protest, and at least the one we went to in Sacramento showed at least some material analysis, or at least had some membership. They called out the corporations who were sponsoring Pride, who exclude, like, trans members, or, like, funnel money to, like, ICE, and, like, also the mere presence of cops. And if you know the history of Pride, cops were the ones that we were fighting against. Like, this whole switch from, Pride's an actual, like, riot, like, it's a revolution, versus Pride just a fun dance party with Lizzo, and we're gonna go dancing and do drugs and promote, like, Doritos, and there was 3 insurance companies there. It was what the fuck is this doing
There
here?
were 3 roofing contractor
That's what
companies
I meant.
there.
Yeah,
No, there were also 3 insurance companies. You were correct the first time. But Sacramento Pride was beautiful contrast to San Francisco Pride. So San Francisco Pride, giant, right? It's absolutely huge affair, and it just brings out the most sort of normie shit you could possibly imagine under the guise of rainbow capitalism. So it's like Wells Fargo and Bank of America with their big rainbow floats and shit. Sacramento Pride was fun because it got blockaded for a while. The actual sort of Pride fairground.
And I know this group gets a lot of controversy and has members who say some dumbass shit, but at least I'm going to give props to the Party for Socialism and Liberation because they actually were there helping them. Like, if you're a true comrade, not an ally. Ally means nothing. If you're a comrade and stand by your fellow comrades to fight for something, they did it in this case.
Yeah, no, it was really impressive. I mean, there was a well-organized blockade of the Pride grounds where, honestly, I was just anxious to get inside and find out which roofing contractor was going to give me the gay discount.
Yeah.
But yeah, they blocked it for a while, and their specific grievance was around the fact that there'd been a decision around whether police in Sacramento Pride could march in uniform. And it had been sort of resolved by the Pride committee that they could march out of uniform.
And in the city said, no, you have to have police.
Yeah, there was an overruling that went on within there. There's a whole fucking thing played out between them. But so then a bunch of people and good like
it was
good comrades. It was really inspiring.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing them, and they were like really just great people. And they got screamed at by some of just the worst, like, old fucking white guys who just like, I'm trying to get in and get my fucking roofing supplies, you fuck. Just screaming at just, young people who are just incredibly sincere, incredibly genuine, giving a message of Pride is not a capitalist affair, right? This is not an opportunity for you to sell bullshit.
Yeah.
This is about people's lives. And
I mean, the same thing happened during the Pride Parade in San Francisco. They blockaded the parade, which for one is way too freaking long. Like, everyone has a play. I'm like, why don't you just like have a giant mural? Like, I don't know. Like, no one wants to watch a parade for how many hours is it?
Well, it's like 50,000 Apple employees marching that shit. It's literally like you could go eat a full breakfast and come back and still be watching the Apple employees going by. But I mean, this is not a company that we need to celebrate for their gayness. Fuck
these
off.
Parades attendants were literally cheering the police, who clearly, if you watch the video, committed police violence towards these peaceful protesters.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like they were throwing anything or hurting anyone.
Right, there were no threats to anybody.
Quite abusive and violent towards these people. And the same thing happened at Sacramento. Just the fact that the majority of the populace has no recollection of what gay history means or how important material conditions were to the struggle, and now just reinforce all the constructs that for so long subjugated them in society.
Right, they are enjoying their newfound position of comfort and economic power, and they're really very, very threatening to anybody who dares challenge that. I mean, fuck them all.
Yeah, they just don't want to realize that, the system overall called capitalism is the real issue. It was never all these microcosms. Like, racism and sexism were all just ways to divide the working class to keep capitalism alive. Like, there's a reason, if you look at the history, we invented racism. Not we, but like society did.
No, I did it, personally.
But it's because people of different skin colors viewed the rich people as the enemy. It wasn't divided by skin color, and they're like, oh, well, we can use this attribute to make them feel like, oh, they're on our side versus the black people. And then that's when slavery was instituted on a racial basis in America.
Right. And so with that, I mean, just remember, get along to Pride and find out which roofing contractor will give you the best LGBT discounts.
Yeah.
And, we're looking for a roofing contractor that's gay friendly and trans exclusive, of course, to sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for tuning in this week. And remember to follow us on Twitter at TwinkRev or Instagram at TwinkRev. And we will see you next time.
Yes.
Thanks.
See you guys. And remember, aesthetics over materialism every single day.